So we'll start with our first presentation with keynote presentation. Now I would like to invite our Dassault System SolidWorks Professional Channel TSM, Mr.Ankur Sharma, to share the keynote presentation. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
Thank you. Mic, please. Hi, good morning. Good morning. I am Ankur Sharma. I am the Territory Sales Manager for SolidWorks based out of the Mangalore office. And I am here to launch the latest release of SolidWorks, which is SolidWorks 2017, I'm sorry. First of all, it's my pleasure. It's my first Innovation Day attendance for SolidWorks in India. And I'm pleased to see a full packed house, a house full of innovators, designers, entrepreneurs, and people who really are making a difference to the world. So what is the mission of SolidWorks? Why is SolidWorks in existence? SolidWorks is in existence to help people make great designs and make them happen in reality. We develop technologies which are powerful, yet maintaining the ease of use and ease of design technologies. We are a very passionate company. And when I say passionate, just wanted to say, this is our 25th product release in past 21 years. So we have been consistently developing new and new technology because we understand that the customers demand more. And we have an ownership and responsibility to deliver the technologies which you can bring to your day-to-day applications. This is backed up by an extensively strong global community of design experts and professionals. We'll be seeing more of that in the subsequent slides. Why innovation is needed? I was doing some research on Google yesterday, and what I could see, how the usage of the word innovation over the past 200 years. The usage of the word innovation in the past 200 years has been consistently going up. In the year 1800 AD, people were talking about innovation in a very small manner. That was more of an industrialization phase. Over the past 10 decades, over the past 10 years, past 1 decade, the word innovation has gained enormous momentum. That is all what we can see in our day-to-day lives. We don't use the product what we are using 5 years back. Even products which were considered to have a very, very long shelf lives are no longer that longevity. There's not so much of time when people use those products. So why is innovation needed? Why do we even use that word? By definition, innovation stands for a new way of thinking and creating. But why do we need to think new? The old things have been good. The world has progressed. Civilizations have persisted with whatever technologies were existing at that point of time. But at the same time, today is a day which is the most exciting as well as most challenging times to be in. People who are excited about it will grow. People who see this as a challenge and don't take a step towards it will have further difficult times going forward. So why do we need innovation? First, innovation is not about making a cool product. Innovation is not about making something very, very fancy which may not be sellable, which may not be usable. So innovation, first of all, why do we need innovation is the environment is getting competitive by the day. Every day there is somebody doing something good which may pose a future competition to you, any one of you. And with the technology shrinking the physical boundaries between the countries, the competition is not even local now. There is a global competition which is coming in. And when we say global, we in India are somehow possessed that the global companies, the global technology is always better. Incidentally, That may not be very true right now. There are companies which are based in India, which I'll be showing a few slides ahead, which are giving extremely tough competition to the global fraternity and the R&D divisions. The companies who do innovation are the companies which are generally most profitable. They are the companies which are generally most customer centric. Those are the companies which are generally attaining a market leading position. A follower company which is copying innovation is always copying. So it is important that we do our own innovation. It has to be relentless. It cannot be an activity. I was reading somewhere that companies have set up an innovation department. That means those few people within the company are responsible to do innovation. Practically, it doesn't work like that. Every mind which works for an organization, for a community, is responsible for innovation. Anybody sitting in this room and beyond, within your organizations, may it be a laborer, may it be engineer, may it be a manager, is responsible for innovation. The product shelf life is getting shorter. The customers are demanding, by default, something very new every year, every 6 months, every 1 month. And it becomes so important for companies to keep on giving something new to feed the hunger of the consumers. Consumers are very, very hungry now. And it is our responsibility to give them and feed their hunger so that they remain with us. We have been talking about the generations X, Y, Z, ZA, ZB. This generation is the generation which is born in the technological era. People who have been born before the 1990s maybe, like me, who are adopting to the technology. For the first 15, 18 years of our life, we didn't have access to a cell phone. We are the technology migrants. We were born in a different era, we are living in a different era. Whereas, if you see somebody who has been born maybe in 90s, they have born by seeing those technologies. And those are the people who are technology natives. It is in their blood, it is in their DNA, they can't live without it. So it is absolutely important for us to strike a balance so that the migrants can also innovate and the natives can also innovate. And that is what SolidWorks has been pioneering in doing all the time. One very important part is products and services cannot work in isolation now. We have gone to an era wherein just doing a good design with no consideration for its functionality is not good enough. A design has to be functional, a design has to be good looking, a design has to be manufacturable, a design has to be manufacturable at a certain cost, the design should be maintainable, and the design should be sellable. To do all that, a single solution doesn't help. And that is where SolidWorks comes into picture. While addressing each part of the innovation process independently, we have also developed a platform on which all the technologies sit together and work with each other. So that is why we all should be thinking innovatively. That's a word which we'll be using more and more. And I'm not the only one speaking about it. Within your company, within your meetings, with your customers, you may be hearing this word. So we should know what do we have to do about it. Why do we do innovation? Because everybody wants to grow economically. Every individual wants to grow economically. Every company wants to grow economically. Every country wants to grow economically. And I don't know, going forward, every planet may like to grow economically. We don't know. The way we have been trying to colonize the outer space, the competition may go out of the earth as well. So we need to be very, very clear on the idea, how are we going to grow in this demanding economy and stay ahead of each one of us. The focus for India and the projections for the country is 9% computed annualized growth rate in GDP by 2034. That is next 18-20 years. This is a study done by PricewaterhouseCoopers, and to attain this kind of growth, there has to be a focus on multiple aspects. It cannot be only product design. It can be education. It has to be education. It has to be health. It has to be human capital. It has to be physical infrastructure. It has to be R&D and innovation. Now, on the next few seconds, we'll be touching upon the impact of investment on each of this area on the GDP. This is a study. The text is small. I'll read out for you. If a country invests majority of its resources on education and health, these are the functional area. Like, it's always an ongoing debate. Should we invest on high-end technology or low-end technologies? Should we invest on improving the life standard of people, or should we invest in improving the overall, the technology adoption of people? The study says that if we invest in education and health extensively over the next 18 years, the compounded growth rate for the country would be something like 6%. That's lower than the inflation. So that may not be the most viable way to take it forward. A scenario 2, where we see that if we invest more in human capital, if we invest more in the physical infrastructure, how is it going to impact the growth of the country? If we do that, the kind of GDP growth which is expected is in the range of 7 to 7.5%, still lower than the inflation, still lower than the expected rate what we need. Wherein, if the investment goes in R&D and innovation, that is the way where the countries will have the maximum growth rate. And that is a study which has been correlated, collaborated, accredited by countries worldwide. That if we need to go fastest, the maximum chunk of investments and focus should be on R&D and innovation. Because if that goes up, everything else follows. What are the factors which are fueling the innovation? What are the factors which are, sorry for my bad throat, I have not been keeping so well, I'm sorry for that. Factors which are fueling of innovation. The first most important factor which is fueling innovation is people want freedom. There has to be no constraints. The creativity should be free. You should be able to think. Whatever you think, you should be able to design. Whatever you are able to design, you should be able to test. Whatever you are able to test, you should be able to manufacture. Whatever you manufacture, you should be able to sell. That is the cornerstone of innovation. To do all of those things, there has to be a collection of right tools available. You cannot just do innovation or a freedom of design just by using a pen and paper. That's a great place to conceptualize. But to cover the other areas of success, the other things have to be there. And SolidWorks provides those tools in your hands. The environment is becoming collaborative. It has always been collaborative, but today is the time where it is the most collaborative environment. The scale, size of the companies don't matter now. The physical, demographic differences between countries don't matter now. The world is a community now. So people have to work with their upstream people, companies, organizations, and the downstream applications as well. They have to work with their customers, they have to work with their suppliers, they have to work with their finances, they have to work with their marketing. Everybody has to work in a collaborative environment. And most important is, it's not necessary that all the collaborative functions will be in the same company. But then they should be able to talk the same language. and that language is SolidWorks. The environment has become more and more socially connected now. I need not to emphasize on the need of social networking right now. We all have been, a very, very avid user of social networks now. And now the social network applications have gone beyond just connecting on a personal level. Now the businesses are connecting with each other. The companies are connecting with each other. The companies are connecting to their clients. The clients are connecting to their suppliers. And then it becomes a completely embedded system. So with this, the flow of information is fast. Nobody wants to wait. We type a message, we expect a reply back in next 10 seconds. If it doesn't come, we start cooking up stories. Then why the reply has not come? The customers are also demanding the same way. So therefore, this is a factor which has to be considered while deciding your company's innovation strategy. And concept to market ecosystem, like what we spoke about a few minutes back, is a great concept is not good enough. A great concept has to go to market and result in revenue. This is one zeal which is driving people to adopt SolidWorks technologies more and more. Even today, while we sit in this room, in the earlier part of the presentations, my colleagues showed some global figures, the number of customers, the number of users. They might have actually gone up in the last half an hour. That is the pace which SolidWorks community is growing. And I welcome you. Most of you are already a part of it. And I welcome the others also to become part of the SolidWorks community as soon as possible. What is innovation for you? There is a dictionary meaning of innovation. There is a social meaning of innovation. But what's in it for me? What is that word means for me? Depending on whatever industry situations you are in, whatever industry you are in, there can be various things which may be innovative for you. As simple as improving the lifespan of an LED. Today, the LED may have a lifespan of say 15,000 hours, but then can you make it 16,000? Can you make it 17,000? That may be innovation for a LED manufacturing company. Reducing cost of a structure in a solar farm. We all have been talking about to harness the solar energy. India is a country which is very well placed in the global scenario in respect to the sun catchment areas. But why we still don't have so much of solar energy? The upfront costs are very high. Can we reduce the cost of solar equipment, so become more reliant in the solar industry, solar energy generation? Creating modular designs for easy assembly and transport. In India, that concept of modular products have still not come into a great extent. I pick up an example of a company known as IKEA, which is a furniture manufacturing company based out of Europe. The company sells completely knocked down furniture, wherein the customer buys and he gets the furniture in a box and he brings it home and design it, make it himself. That is what we have been looking at now. People want to reduce on the transportation cost. People want to reduce on the maintenance and handling cost. Can we make something which is modular and which can be multifunctional as well? Can we make something so that the energy footprint of our product becomes low? We all talk about carbon credits, we talk about the sustainability, we talk about LEED certification, gold certifications. Can we make it to that league now? For somebody, a product which requires zero maintenance for 4 years is an innovation. There are vehicles which used to come with 1 year standard warranty. Now, they are trying to make it 3 year standard warranty, 4 year standard warranty. That's an innovation. Improving vehicle safety. People say that we have attained a very high level of vehicle safety now. But still, there are hundreds and thousands of deaths in car accidents every year. That means we have not reached to the pinnacle of vehicle safety till now. There is a lot of innovation has to be done. improving the efficiency of a pump. As simple as people have been making pumps from almost 100 years now. Yeah, people have been making pumps from 100 years now. Is there a way to improve the efficiency? Can a communication antenna mounted in a very stormy weather, can it withstand a tornado pressure? Can it withstand if a tornado comes in? Because if it breaks up, the cost of maintenance and the loss in communication will be enormous. Where does SolidWorks pitches in? SolidWorks pitches in as a platform for innovation. A common platform to take from concept to manufacturing. A common platform to realize your idea to revenue. And platform to connect all the stakeholders in the process. How do we do that? We'll be covering in next couple of slides. What is our objective? We have grown as a CAD leader. We have, over the past 20 years, we have grown as a CAD leader. Now, the next wave is the platform adoption should happen. And that is where we'll be talking more and more in all the upcoming sessions and the times to come. So when we say, where does SolidWorks is a platform for collaboration, this is what the platform means. The icons are small, you may not be able to read all of them. I'll read the bullet points for you. There is a journey from creation to building a product. And then there are stages within of validation, management, and collaboration. At each stage, SolidWorks has an extensive set of tools available to enable each part of the product design and development process, starting right from SolidWorks Premium, which is a CAD modeling software, to SolidWorks Simulation, to SolidWorks Electrical, to SolidWorks Composer, to SolidWorks Enterprise PDM. There is a complete gamut of software available on the same platform. You don't have to really go out of your CAD platform at all. Everything works seamlessly within it. So as we said earlier, there are tools, there are systems, but they have to work together under an umbrella of methodology and services, which is being very, very ably done by our partners like Logical Solutions. We provide the tools, we provide the systems, they merge it for you and make it really work for you. Quickly touching upon the device, what you see on the left hand side, the video what you saw was a human hand. This takes the innovation to a new level. This device has been developed by some students of MIT US. The device is called MyOMA. MyOMA stands for My Own Mobility. This is a device for the people who have severe nerve control problems in their limbs, upper limbs, where the brain signals cannot convert into motor action. They want their hands to be lifted, but the hand doesn't lift. The nerves are not strong enough. This equipment, developed by students, which is now commercialized, this equipment has been completely designed, tested, validated, the complete life cycle within SolidWorks. It converts the brain signals into physical movement. If the brain thinks that the hand should go up, it reads it, activates the motors, and the hand goes up. In the next few minutes, we'll see how has SolidWorks played a role in development of this product. The first part is the mechanical design of this product, which has been done by SolidWorks Premium, Professional, and Standard. That's how the product looks and feels like. Taking a step inside what's inside the product, there is a very, very extensive electrical and electronic system that also has been designed using tools of SolidWorks like PCB and electrical. So we have gone into the system now. The system has been tested for all physical performance criteria as well as thermal performance criteria using SolidWorks tools for CFD and SolidWorks tool for FEA. There is one important thing which I want to touch upon, which is the very, very intensive part of SolidWorks 2017, is the 3D interconnect. Now you can import any other CAD software designs and bring it in the SolidWorks in the native format. So now, irrespective of who your extended ecosystem may be, you can all work in same SolidWorks environment. You can convert them into photorealistic product renderings. You can do a absolute advertised quality visualization of the product, and as well as communicate in a very, very enriched manner using e-drawings. And then it becomes important to manage to build that product. To build that product with the minimum cost, time and efforts. So there are technologies available like DIM Expert, MBD, Inspection and Composer, which my teams will be taking you through in the subsequent sessions. And on top of that, whatever we do has to be managed. And that is being done with SolidWorks PDM Professional. So this product, what you see, all aspect of the development of a very high-end product has been done using SolidWorks. Just a glimpse, whenever a product is getting designed or manufactured, there are some critical information which are associated with it. It can be a capturing of the user requirement, it can be capturing of the simulation results, it can be capturing of the information, assembly instructions, QA plan, process planning, drawings, whatever it may be. But then they all should be connected and available to everybody in real time. So wherein an integrated system called as PDM database and vault comes into play. A safe repository and a control system for all your engineering data. That's a product which has been accelerating the company's R&D to by making information available to everybody in the right manner at the right time. So when we talk about the tools, just a glimpse, 2 more slides. When we talk about the tools, we have tools for every kind of people within an organization. We have tools for mechanical engineers, for electrical engineers, for product analysts, for documentation engineer, for quality assurance engineers, manufacturers, and marketing and sales. For everybody, there is a SolidWorks product available. Now coming to systems, there is a collaborative system to share information between all the support functions which we just spoke about. And then the most important part of methodology and services. A great product is only great when implemented properly results to your company through their own methodology and services offerings. A brief look at how companies near you have innovated. So these are examples of 3 companies. The first one, what you see on the left, is an electric scooter. India's first indigenous electric scooter made by a Bangalore-based company known as Ather Energy. This company has got, they were fresh out of IITs, students fresh out of IITs, they had this concept and they realized it using SolidWorks technology, and they have got enormous funding from all the leading venture capitalists worldwide, and they are going into production very soon now. The laptop what you see on the top right corner is again by a startup venture called Notion Inc. based out of Bangalore. This company has been termed as the Apple of India. These people have also been using SolidWorks very, very extensively. They have shown enormous growth in past 3 years. The small black and red object what you see on the right hand corner of the screen is a smart shoe. A smart shoe is a shoe which has been predominantly developed for the people who are visually impaired. We see people walking with sticks. The shoe is meant to replace the sticks. It is a sensor-based tool which will give real-time feedback to the people who are wearing it so that they can walk without any external aids. Few examples of people doing innovation around your space. All young, fresh people. And we could see these products in the market very, very soon now. Why we are talking about this? That if we say innovation is difficult, Innovation is expensive, innovation is time taking. The answer is no. People have done those things with the least cost, time, efforts and energy. Just to wrap up, a brief glimpse on the size and the scale of the SolidWorks community. You are not alone. There are more than 32 lakh people using SolidWorks worldwide. By any standard, the largest in the world. There are more than 2.4 lakh companies using SolidWorks, an enormous figure. More than 2.5 million students who are using SolidWorks, that is 25 lakhs. SolidWorks is being taught in over 31,000 colleges and universities worldwide. So availability of power is never an issue. There are around 15 lakh, am I audible? There are around 15 lakh active users who are accessing SolidWorks data, design, models on the web. There are more than 285 user groups, and we are very, very active socially. And when we say we, it is not SolidWorks as a company, it is the SolidWorks users who have made their own communities and working as a team. So with this, I welcome you to the Innovation Day for SolidWorks 2017. Thanks for your time, and I invite you to innovate. Thank you.